Hello everybody, my name is Sinvicta and welcome back to Diablo 4 here on the Sinvicta Gaming channel. And as you can tell by the thumbnail and the title of this video, obviously now things have been nerfed and changed for probably the less fun, worse, however you want to describe it. But obviously the answer is still going to be out there. Which is the best dungeon to be running right now? And depending on what you need in the game, I have a couple of answers for you. So first off, if you enjoy this Diablo 4 content, make sure you hit the subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, all that kind of good stuff. It helps out and grows the Sinvicta Gaming channel, and I really do appreciate everyone who's been doing that for these Diablo 4 videos. They've been popping off lately. Continue doing it, and I'll keep making content for this fine game. All right, so I've done some numbers. I've spent the last couple of hours now testing which of the dungeons are going to be the best ones that you want to be running currently in this state of the game. This was recorded after the post-loot loot cave nerfs that they've done on all the dungeons that you all know and love, talking about the ruins of Eridu and as well as Champion's Demise. And there are a couple other farming spots that have since been discovered and I've been running and have been getting some levels of success, but not to the degree that we've been seeing post-patch. So, or pre-patch, I should say. So, what we're going to be doing here is I'm going to be showing you a graphic, and I'm going to be running a dungeon or two just to kind of show you exactly how I came up with these numbers and what the results are. So on your screen right now, you're going to be seeing basically what I've been finding over the last couple of hours now as I've been playing post-patch, and these are the numbers that are, it's from a very, very small sample size, but they are accurate to the point of actually running these for about half an hour each. Again, the numbers are going to be a little bit estimated because obviously I'm not running them for a full hour each because that would just take forever. But there's a couple of conclusions that I've come up with ever since trying out this sort of experiment. So these numbers that you see here, then the times that you complete them, they are about as accurate as you can get. Again, I've been running these for about maybe 2 hours now total. And a couple of different dungeons have come to mind that I've started running that are actually not that bad. But as you can tell by the numbers here, still the ruins of Eridu, or Eridu, however you want to pronounce it, are still going to be the most efficient farm for you for XP. Now, this is just strictly speaking for XP. They did nerf all the elites that spawn in here. You basically almost never see any elites now in the slay all phase here on the ruins of Eridu, and that is disappointing because obviously that kills the amount of loot that you can get and also hurts the XP, but compared to other places now, that does not actually hold true. Like, it's still very, very good in terms of XP when compared to the other dungeons. Now, there also might be more places out there that are better, but these are just the 4 places that I wanted to test against each other to find out exactly which ones are going to be the best. Now, with that being said, because I know that some people have already seen this and been like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, obviously they've nerfed it now. You know, even after I made those tweets yesterday on there where it was actually not nerfed until very recently this morning. There are 2 other places that have now shown up that I've been running and that are pretty good. And I will say that even though those places are not great loot or XP wise as the ruins are, it's still pretty good for loot. And those 2 places are going to be the Forsaken Quarry and Alder's Cave, which I will show you in a moment exactly where those are. As you can see, we're already pretty much done with the ruins here. Again, they got rid of the Horde mechanic in here, but the Horde mechanic still exists in these other dungeons. So where are the other dungeons that I'm talking about? Well, if you go to your world map, the first one that we're going to look at is the Forsaken Quarry. This one's just north of Kiofashad, which is right here. It's very, very easy to get to. You just teleport here, and that's no big deal, and we'll just go ahead and travel there. And then the second one is going to be Alder's Cave, which is going to be on the bottom left side of the map, or the southwest side of the map, which is also very easily accessible from the Iron Wolves encampment, which I'll show you right now. And we'll run one of these, and then I'll wrap up with some final thoughts here. So this is where the Iron Wolves encampment is right here, and then the Alder's Cave is just a hop, skipping, and jumping away there. So you can just teleport here, run down, and there you go. So there's a couple of things that I want to mention in regards to these 2 specific dungeons, because they run very differently than Champion's Demise as well as compared to the ruins of Eridu. And I'm also not running the right way because I'm too busy talking. So where you get to the good stuff on these 2 in particular, and the ones that I'm talking about are Forsaken's Quarry, which we're about to go into, and also the Alder's Cave. The good stuff is locked behind the first phase of the instance. So what I mean by that is you actually have to go and do the first phase of the instance in order to get to the elites. Because on the first lap, yes, there's not that much elites. But I will say that there is a very good concentration of elites, and the most legendaries that I've gotten out of doing these paths have actually been coming from Alder's Cave. That is where you want to be running if you're looking strictly for XP and legendaries. Now, the Forsaken Quarry is not too bad either. I will say that you do still get a fair bit amount of rewards there in all the elite packs, but they're not as densely packed as Older's Cave. However, there are more regular mobs in the Forsaken Quarry. So that's where we are right now, and I'll go ahead and just show you really quickly what I mean. What's nice about the Quarry, and even though it's a little bit less XP than the ruins is per hour, what's nice about this map in particular is that it's basically a straight shot. It's very, very linear. There's not a whole lot of packs in the first part of it here, but as you'll see when we get to the second part after we break down the door, there are going to be packs of elites inside of there. Now, another thing to keep in mind here is that this particular dungeon also did hold the horde mechanic, so you don't have to clear all the little mobs here, and there are some good shrine spawns here as well. But you don't have to go out and kill all the little minions. They will start dropping hordes on you, as we'll probably see here in a moment. Maybe not. There we go. So we've taken already. I've cleared this part, and this is all you have to do. So once you get into the sealed door, after you kill all the mobs here, this is where the good stuff is in the Forsaken Quarry. And you see there, it took us maybe a minute to get here. Again, what's nice about this is that it's the prisoner. Basically, it's the prisoner release one, and look at the size of this density. It's very, very good. Lots of elites, just like the olden times, like, you know, pre-patch. I mean, there's a good amount of mob density here. You do have to stop and get the prisoners, of course, which is kind of annoying, but there are still going to be very nicely sized packs in here. It reminds me of the old Champion's Demise before it got nerfed. So, you know, again, if you're looking, what these numbers basically mean is, if you're asking the question, what is the best thing for me to run? If you're talking about pure XP along with the potion, as you can see, I don't have any potions right now, then you want to be running the Runes of Eridu. It's still very, very good. It's still going to be the most efficient one, although you do have to worry about the disconnects, of course, and because of the fact that people are still farming it, there's going to be some lag. So that's going to cut into your efficiency, your XP efficiency. Meanwhile, the Forsaken Quarry, as well as Older's Cave, people are not running these that much because it's just not well known that well. So that is something else to keep in mind when you're talking about efficiency. So you get the gate here, the gate key. And now, of course, you could just stop your run right here and just go out and reset if you really wanted to. I basically just run through the rest of it because, again, it's very quick to get through. And there's another nice little elite pack that you get here when you fight the Corruption Heart. And it's just it's a good amount of XP. You still don't get as many legendaries as you do in Older's Cave, which I will run after this, but I just wanted to show you how linear this whole cave system is. And this one doesn't really deviate too much when it comes to the procedural generation. It's a very straight shot, and that's what's kind of great about it. There is a little bit of running in between packs, of course, so you're going to have that basically everywhere other than the ruins. There are resplendent chest spawns, as you can see right here. And you know, that's just more chances for you to get legendaries and just more XP. But obviously, if we're just talking about pure XP, you want to be running the Runes of Eridu. It's still best just because of how quick you can run them, even though they have nerfed the crap out of it. Just don't expect a whole lot of legendary rewards. But again, as you see here, we're getting a lot of good elite pack size here, and it still does have the horde mechanic, even though it didn't really show it on this video. And if you want to end up doing the final boss, you can. You don't have to. But again, if we're just chewing through all the elites here, this one does take a little bit longer to do, but it's still pretty decent loot. So I do think that it is worth it to run in its entirety to completion. You go fight the boss. Maybe you'll get another legendary drop here. I don't really know how much XP the bosses are really all that worth, but a couple hits down, bingo, bango, bongo, you got yourself a dead Khazra Abomination. You can wait for the death animation or not. It's up to you. And then now I'm going to show you where where Older's Cave is. So we can go back down here, teleport to the Iron Wolves encampment. You can just do this straightly from the dungeon run. Again, farm whichever one you want, but I will say that Older's Cave does have the highest concentration of legendary drops that I've seen. And during my testing, I did get a unique from inside of Older's Cave, as well as Champion's Demise. Champion's Demise is still not all that bad, to be honest. And there's really not a whole lot of people running it anymore. But if it were up to me, I like to run Older's Cave just because of the fact that there are a greater amount of densities of elites, and it's also basically where you can get like 1 or 2 legendaries per run, and the runs they take a little bit longer, but you get a lot more XP for it as well. So but really it's up to you. So this is just the findings that I found for the last couple of hours here today that I've been testing post-patch, and I wanted to share it all with you because I know that a lot of people are going to be having questions as far as like, where's the new loot cave? Where's the best place to go now? I don't know if you would actually call this a loot cave anymore, but it's still pretty darn good XP. And again, the amount of legendaries that you do get is still pretty nice. You're just not going to get them in as great a quantity as we did see pre-patch to post-patch here, but again, what's nice about this one here is that in Older's Cave it is a very straight shot. Again, you just run up, destroy the barricade. You don't have to do the kill all until the second phase. But again, as just like with I was talking about with Forsaken Quarry, the Forsaken Quarry and this cave here, the good stuff is locked behind the second phase of the dungeon, basically. So you have to go destroy the barricade. You can sit there and fight the boars and everything if you want to. I usually don't really waste too much time with them. I'll go through, kill the elite, and then keep on going. So as you see right there, just got a legendary, a good example of what I'm talking about. Now, what is also nice about this, in phase 2 of this particular dungeon, it is a kill-all phase, and once you're done killing everything, there is a horde mechanic. It delivers the final boss to you immediately, right on top of you, which is really, really cool. So you have to take that into account, and the final boss usually does drop something pretty good. He's very easy, he's just a basic bandit leader, and then that's it. So again, pretty good pack density here. It's nothing really to write home about too much, as we are running towards every barricade and everything. But again, it is very, very linear, and that's what I really like about this, is that you don't have to worry about going in the wrong direction. You know, what was nice about the ruins of Eridu was the fact that you did have you did like sort of like a figure 8 on itself, so there's really no bad way to go. And the same thing holds true for the Forsaken Quarry as well as Older's Cave. There's really no wrong way to go. You can actually pretty much go in one direction and you're going to be totally fine. So we're just making our way, going past the stingers here, going past the scorpions. We don't really care too much about them. We get teleported over here to the lever situation, and then after we're done with this is where this dungeon really starts to open up when you get to the second phase of it, and this is the slay all part. Now the slay all part, again, it did preserve the horde mechanic, which is nice. Excuse you. It did preserve the horde mechanic, which is very nice. I apparently can't get the lever in because I'm bleeding. Okay. And like I said, the final boss is basically hand delivered to you after you're done killing everything. So it's really, really nice when that happens. So here we go, second phase, bandit hideout. We got to slay everything, and this is where the good stuff really, really is hidden behind. And you'll start seeing here, hopefully, you'll see we got another legendary there. Again, this is where if you want loot and you want XP, this is the place to go. You want to go to Older's Cave over there next to the Iron Wolves encampment. This is the place. This is the place that you want to be. Not a lot of people know about this spot. That's why I'm sharing it with you all. And again, farm it before it gets nerfed. I don't know how they can nerf it any further than they've already gone, but you know, talking about that, and I'll share my final thoughts when I get my barbarian up to level 100. But I kind of talked about it on Twitter yesterday. It is a little bit discouraging that Blizzard is continuing this whole trend of, instead of making things better for the most part for everything, they are inclined to bring things down levels instead of bringing other sort of like lower lesser fun things. They're, instead of bringing those up to make them more fun or improve it across the board, Blizzard seems to be willing to nerf things down and make everything just mediocre at best, which is something that they are pretty much known for in other games, which is kind of disappointing because we've seen a lot of class balances. We've seen a lot of the nerfs to the loot caves and the dungeons and that sort of thing. So, you know, we were kind of hoping, we were afraid of that happening. And now, obviously, we're not talking about exploits. We're just talking about class balance changes as well as farming changes as well. And that's kind of the disappointing side of things, that Blizzard is willing to nerf these sort of like XP farms just because it's not the way that they want them intended, or it's giving too much reward. So instead of bringing other things up and making them give equal amounts of reward, they're instead nerfing things and making things give less reward to people. You know, and of course it does take time and energy to go find these farming spots and stuff too. And obviously once it gets out, then it's out in the open, and then that's that. So Blizzard takes note of that. And of course, as they keep changing it, I'm going to keep bringing you all videos here to let you know where the next best farming spot is, and you know where you want to get those legendaries, where you want to get the best XP, that sort of stuff. So we get our final horde here, and this is going to give us our final bandit leader here. Apparently, my inventory is full. I'll get rid of this, whatever. So, but yeah, as you can see here, it's very, very good. So, and here's the final boss. And you get tons of legendaries, tons of XP, and it's a lot of fun. Again, it's still not going to be as good as the ruins are, but this is the next best thing if you do want to have legendaries, but also get some good XP too. So I'm going to wrap up this video here. Let me know what you guys and gals think down below. Are you finding these spots? Are you sharing them with people? If you do have a better place than these that I've tested, then definitely share them down in the comments below. And as always, I will see you all next time. Until then, so long, everybody.